Coming up on the next episode.
Disclaimer. This video is not intended to be a tutorial, but rather it just shows how I accomplished this goal. Also, this video does not go into any aspects of how to set up the UEFI, BIOS, section of the computer for the added hard drive. This strictly covers only the hardware portion of this project. I may cover the BIOS aspect in a future video. Thanks. Dell Optiplex 9020 small form factor desktop computer. Changing from a single 3.5-inch hard drive to dual, 2.5-inch hard drives. What you will need. Dell Optiplex 9020 small form factor computer. Silverstone SDP08, 3.5-inch to 2.5-inch bay converter. Or similar. Serial A power 15-pin Y-splitter cable adapter male to female. A couple of 2.5-inch hard drives, mechanical or SSD. One serial A data cable. Screwdriver and screws to secure hard drives to bay converter. Step 1. Put the computer up on your work surface and remove the side cover.
Okay, first things first, set the computer up on the desktop like so. And what we want to do next is basically flip this over on its side. Now this has rubber on the side here and on the bottom of the case, so it can be set either way. But there you go, there's basically what it looks like. And to open it up, what you want to do is grab this little handle here, firmly lift up like that, and you see it popped right up. And then you basically pull this up until the little half hinge lets go, and there you go, your insides are now visible.
Step 2. With the computer laid flat on its side to reveal the open area. Disconnect the data and power cables from the back of the optical drive. Lift the tab and slide the optical drive out to remove it from the computer.
What we want to do basically is remove the optical drive here. To do that, there's two cables. There's a data cable here, a power cable here. Now on this data cable, it's got a nice thick cord to it. Basically wiggle and pull and it comes loose, as you can see. Kind of put it out of the way a little bit. Now on the other one, I found that this has a little hard stop to it, bump stop, whatever you want to call it, and if you take a screwdriver and basically pop it out like that. Works really nice, really nice. And next, to get the actual optical drive out, you see the little blue tab here. We'll want to lift up on that, and you can feel it pop up, and it loosens up, and you slide it back there. Once it clears this front bezel, you can lift up the drive like this, and just slide it out.
Step 3. Disconnect the power and data cables from the back of the hard drive. Step 4. Slide the blue hard drive cage handle toward unlock position and lift the hard drive cage from the computer.
This loop here, you can see that. You're going to pull it over, or no, push it over this way, I'm sorry. And you'll hear it click. And we're going to set it back down so I can have two hands. And basically this thing just lifts up like that. Now you can see the cables are holding it. You get it up about that far. Best thing to do is take and wiggle and pull. Now there's no bump stops on these. These are just straight connectors, so they wiggle and pull out. So to get it out, this is another half hinge. Dell's famous for those. Basically lift it out like that. There's your hard drive right there. And that's all there is to that.
Step 5. 1. Press the retention clips inward and 2. Slide the blue plastic hard drive bracket out from the drive cage. Step 6. Flex the hard drive bracket and remove the hard drive from the bracket.
So what we want to do is basically, there are two tabs on the side, two blue tabs here. You want to pinch those in like that and slide the drive out. It's just that easy. Dell makes it easy, let me tell you. And that's all there is to it. That's the hard drive cage. I'm going to set that aside. And next thing we want to do is basically remove the hard drive from this blue plastic caddy. And what you want to do is basically, you can basically move that around. You see how that makes that, flexes that out, and that's how you start to remove it. You just want to flex it like that on both ends until it removes it. There's little pins that you'll see in just a second that fit into where the screw holes are on the hard drive. And there you go. Just like that. That's all there is to it. Hard drive is out. No tools needed.
Step 7. Lay the original hard drive and bracket aside for the moment and proceed to assemble the new dual hard drive bay converter. Step 8. Note cutout on one end of bay converter. Make sure to orient the hard drives so the data and power connectors are at the end with the cutout. Step 9. Keeping in mind the orientation from the previous step, assemble the hard drives to the converter bay using 4 screws on each drive. Step 10. Flex the blue plastic hard drive bracket and install the assembled bay converter using the same orientation as the original hard drive. Data and power connectors access on the end shown.
What you can see here is the assembled converter bay, and it is, just like I said before, screwed in with 4 screws on each drive. And what I did was go ahead and attach this Y splitter cable, so that, and this is not the one I bought. I'm going to point that out. The one I bought had a lot longer leads. This is the one that came with another computer. I believe it was a Dell, and it was made for this. So, like I said, they are firmly in there, and that will slide in there just fine like it is. So we're going to do it that way, and that just leaves our data cables to connect here. Our power cables are already connected. So let me get this lined up. Now I had to, and I don't know if you will or not, I guess depends on several different things. And then I want to preface by saying I didn't really have to. It would fit, but it was really tight. The screw holes here for this bracket converter were a little bit smaller than the pins on the hard drive caddy converter, whatever you want to call that thing. And it didn't work out as well, so I went ahead and drilled them out a little bit. And I think you can see, I hope you can see it now. It fits in there fine. And there you go. You also remember this thing about putting the connectors at the back with this piece here and the handles that gets it out.
For the reassembly portion of this video, the procedure is basically a reverse of the disassembly, but with several differences which will be noted as they come up. Step 1. Take the assembled bay converter, which is now in the blue plastic hard drive caddy, and slide it back into the hard drive cage, making sure the cables will be accessible once installed. Note the plastic clips will snap in once it is fully in place. Lay it aside for the moment.
So all you have to do now is basically, it is attached, it's ready to go. We need this piece here, and I'm going to slide it in here like this, and you'll hear it click when I push it in. Oh yeah, click. And that's all there is to that.
Step 2. Keeping in mind the proper orientation of the cable and port 2 on the motherboard shown and using the correct type serial ATA data cable, straight connector on each end, plug one end of the cable into serial ATA port 2 on the motherboard. Cable routing will be discussed in the next step.
Alright, I'm going to go ahead and attach the data cable, the extra data cable that needs to be put in here. Simply because it makes it a lot easier to do it. We can bend the cable around where we need to do to get it situated. I like to get all these cables here out of the way so we have a nice clear spot. Now there's the place where it's going to go. That's the port number 2. I'll point these out. This is port 1. This is the optical drive. And over here that I've got my hand on here, that is port 0. That's for the first hard drive. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put it just like that. And like I said, I want to plug this in. So I found one that's straight on both ends. And just have to observe your keyway I think you can see that. There's an L shape there, upside down L, whatever you want to call it, and that's your key. And on the port itself, it's also got a L shape on it, and this one is shaped just like this. So it's going to go in just like this. And I know you probably can't see very well, but I have to be in there to actually put it in. And you'll hear it pop in there. And once you do that, we'll just put this back out here, out of the way. We will get it back in there eventually.
Step 3. This will involve putting the finished hard drive cage back into its previous location in the computer. Care should be taken to keep all the wires out of the way of the process, while maintaining access to the ones which will be needed to hook up the hard drives. Keeping that in mind, insert the hard drive cage half hinge back into its original slots and pull it down and let the hinge hold it in place. Do not lock it down yet.
I like to keep everything out of the way because one thing about, like I say, these Dells are easy to work on, but you need plenty of open space. You can't have cables and everything in the way, so that's what I like to do. Alright, now we're going to install our newly constructed hard drive cage, whatever you want to call it. And to do that, we want to take and slide that in here. I'm sorry, here. There you go. Again, get our cables out of the way. And we're going to go straight down like that.
Step 4. With the hard drive cage loosely installed, make all of the cable connections to the hard drives, keeping in mind the correct keying of the connectors as shown. The power Y cable should already be installed on the hard drives, as mentioned in the video portion. Find the original power cable from the computer and plug that into the open end of the Y cable. Make sure it is fully inserted. Take the data cable which was connected to the original hard drive and insert that into the data connector on the lower hard drive. Now take the extra data cable you installed onto the motherboard data port 2 connector and insert the open end into the data connector on the upper hard drive.
Well, I got to plug up the power connector here. I want to do that. I'll put this underneath of this. I like to keep everything out of the way as best as possible when I'm routing cables. For right now, we're just doing one thing at a time. Again, reserve your keyway. It's on that side, and yes, it is on that side. And they fit together like that, and they are together now. And you can see those will pretty much stay out of the way. You can see it a lot easier there, and I'm not gonna, you've seen it before, so I'm gonna slide this in, make sure your keyway is right. It should be, because that's the way it's set up. So slide it in, make sure it is in, and it is. And then we're going to take this other one, do the same thing with it. If I can find it, there it is. There, slid right in there.
Step 5. With all of the hard drive connections made properly, it's time to very carefully move the wires out of the way of the hard drive cage snapping into place. Take your time and remember any other connections which still need to be made to the optical drive when it is reinstalled. If the extra data cable you installed is fairly long, just let it stick up into the air for now, and once the cage is snapped into place we can find the best place to put it. Keeping all that in mind, snap the hard drive cage back into its original place.
Alright, so now we can let this down once again and slide our block back over like that. Now it is basically in.
Step 6. Now it's time to reinstall the optical drive into its original position, making sure its cables will reach their destination. Place the optical drive back into its position and make sure to fully slide it into the front bezel until the blue connector snaps into place. Reconnect the power and data cables to the drive, observing the proper orientation.
Now this is our get this over on the other side. This is our power for the optical drive. Goes over there. We'll put that out of the way. Last thing I'm going to do is route that cable, that red cable, get that out of the way, and I'll show you, like I say, in just a bit. Next I want to go ahead and install the optical drive back into the computer. It installs basically just the same way as before. You just basically put it down like that, slide it over until it clicks in, and then attach your cables. Here's our power cable goes first. Is that the power cable? Yeah, that's the power cable. Alright, it goes in there like that. Snaps it in. And here's our data cable. I'm going to go on and sneak that underneath that. And slide it up there where it goes. I'm not checking the keyway because these are just about only one way they go. So you can see there's everything in there nice and tight, as it were.
Step 7. With all of the wires connected to their proper locations, it is now time to make sure any and all wires are routed in such a way as to not interfere with the computer side cover from being reinstalled. Take some time, make sure no wires will get pinched in this process, and then insert the side cover into the half hinge at the bottom, and once it is properly inserted, swing the cover back up to its locked position. It should snap into place. This concludes the reassembly process.
And now next, I think what I'm going to do with these is basically, you can fold these pretty much any way you want. My main concern is keeping it out of the fan for the CPU. And we don't want to do that. We want to make sure it's not there. So kind of route them in there like that. When the case goes on, they'll flatten right out. And there's nothing harmful about doing what I'm doing. So again, case goes on like that. Everything is hooked up. It is perfect. Half hinges here. You find the right spot. They slide right in. I'll show you that a little better if I haven't. Right there, they slide right in, and you can down. Boom. It is done. That is the long and the short of it, as they say. There you go. There's your Dell 9020, all ready to go. Dual hard drives set up, and that's pretty much that. Alright, I thought I'd go ahead and bring you back for the fruits of my labor, as it were. This is what the computer boots up to right now. This is the grub menu. As you can see, the top choice is, and this is the one that actually boots as the default, is MX 23.1 libretto, whatever. And I just hit the space bar to stop the timer, but if I let the timer go, it would go ahead and load that if I didn't hit a key or anything. So, and then as you can see, if I cursor down here, I can boot up a Linux Lite, and I'm going to go ahead and boot up MX 23 first, and let you see how long that takes. And then it's on the mechanical drive, and the Linux Lite is on the SSD. So we'll do a little comparison there. So here, let's see. I'm at the key right now. Hope everybody had a happy Christmas. Merry Christmas, and is having a Happy New Year as well. This is being recorded on New Year's Day, Monday, and hoping to get this done. I've been working on this for some time, so I'd like to get this done today and get it uploaded and ready for viewing on Wednesday. That's the plan. So we are still booting. I'm not taking time measurements or anything like that, but now this will take a while. This is what they call a splash screen, I suppose is what they call it, but it actually goes from this, and then you'll see the icons fill in at the bottom, and the connection, and then the conky will appear, and the actual desktop will appear. it can be used now. I mean, it's not, no, I can run any program I want as far as doing that. But it's not actually booted all the way up to the, there's your conky. And it should change over to the, there it is, to the desktop. So that is how that works. And like I said, it has most of the same features that I have on my living room computer. And so, like I said, I just wanted to show you how quickly that booted, or how long it took, or whatever you want to call it. And now what we're going to do is do the restart. And this time we will choose Linux Lite. Again, I'll stop the grub menu from the timer from running the default, and we'll choose the Linux Lite. So there's that, and we'll go down, choose Linux Lite, and I'm hitting the button. I guess this is what they call the splash screen for Linux Lite. Not much more than a gear turning, but like I said, is what it is. This actually has sound when it comes up. There you go. That comes up right to the boot, to the desktop, and it is ready to use. So there's no conky on this. I haven't actually tried to install it yet. I did try to install it, but I didn't make it to where it was came up on every boot. I've got to go back and do that. But other than that, it worked fine on here as well. So, anywho, that's kind of what I did with those two hard drives. Again, this is the SSD drive, and it booted up a little faster, I do believe. And well, we can do some time comparisons in the video when I look at it. But like I said, I'm very pleased with the way it turned out, and it really wasn't that much. It was, to tell you the truth, it was more difficult to make the video than it was to actually put two hard drives in that computer. That may not make sense, but you know, it did. And now I said something about it in the video that I'm going to probably do a BIOS version of this to show you how to change the BIOS and things like that for the dual hard drives and such. But oh, that's one more thing I do want to boot up and show you. There is basically two hard drives on there, and we'll do restart. See if I can catch this. Sometimes this thing's hard to catch. Okay, there you go. Alright, let's see if it comes up. Yes, it did. We go down to system configuration and drives. There, you can see 0 port is a 1 terabyte hard drive. Now that is the SSD, as you can see, SanDisk SSD Plus. The SATA 1, as I mentioned in the video, is the optical drive. And SATA 2, which is the one we added, is the 1000 or 1 terabyte, I believe Seagate, I think is what it was. And it's in there as well. So like I said, that's what used to just have one in the optical drive, but now we have two. So that works rather well, I think. Now I'm going to go ahead and exit out of here, and we'll see what happens as far as me not touching the keyboard this time. And like I say, we show you that it does just boot directly up into MX Linux. So it takes 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, boots, and there you go. So you can change that grub file. You can make it boot the last operating system that you booted before, or you can make it set to a default like I have it, and that's the way I kind of like it, because I use MX Linux more than I do the other one. The other one I'm just kind of learning, and it's taking some time to figure out things. Although, well, my heater is kicked on, which is actually good because it's a little chilly today. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Like I said, you've seen it boot before. So, like I say, I'll get off here and wish you all a very, very happy New Year. And I hope yours is a good one. We need a good one. We haven't had a good one for a while, I don't think. But anywho. So, like I say, I'm going to get off here and wish you a happy New Year, like I said. And we will talk to you later. And I want to thank everyone for watching these silly videos of mine. And I think I'm up to 1,800 now on the subscriber count, which, you know, is not much, but, you know, it's better than when I started. So, you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see ya!